Something that's been crossing my mind about ever since I've been playing TCM and DBD. Well, I've been playing TCM far more because I find it more interesting in the sense of how the progression system between survivors is done. Let's start by talking about DBD. DBD has this unfortunate situation where it has been out for a long time, so therefore they're kind of set in their ways. What I'm getting at here is how the survivors are. The only difference between the what survivors you have is just the sound they make, how much they blend. Everything else about them, there's nothing that makes them unique. And what I'm referring to is the fact that I would prefer if they would have their own mastery perks. You know, things that their very own perks that could that would have a strength to them. For example, it would be like exhaustion perks would probably, I don't know, where they'd come back faster, or you'd have an additional second. Something to make them unique. Wheeling back to Chainsaw Massacre, each survivor, or I guess use the right terminology, each victim have their own core ability that give them powers or make them something that makes them unique. And again, they have stats in this game, stats that can synergize with perks. But what the flaws that I want to get at when it comes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre is this tree system. It's a unique concept where you can choose these different paths and all that. The only problem is you'll spend a lot more time respecking than going through the tree or sticking to one set of the tree. The kind of thing I would like to have is a loadout option, which we do have. Unfortunately, when you respec, it just resets it to a default loadout. What this loadout system should do, it should have it where, you know, you save it on one loadout and it would save the tree. And let's say you respec at some point, it would have that tree saved and the requirement of stats, like it would be up to 50 or whatever you have it saved as. And then you can just select it on the fly. And then you'll have the loadouts and all the subsequent things all set up and ready to go. So you could, this way you could have different loadouts that would be corresponding to different sections of the tree. And then you can just switch to it on the fly. You know, it would just exchange the points out and in and out and in, and then there you go. You got yourselves a loadout that actually has purpose in this game. Additionally, I would like to talk about the random perks. People online are already talking about numerous different loadouts where it requires you to respec until you get the perk you need for said loadout, which is really tedious. I kind of wish it would just have either random would be one of the options, or you can just choose a choose a perk of your liking, and then there you go. You wouldn't have, because people are just gonna go for the random over and over again, whether they like it or not. It just creates a tedious game of roulette that we'd rather avoid. Unfortunately, DBD doesn't really have anything like this. It'd be very interesting if they actually experimented by having a different game mode. Maybe, you know, finally do the 2 killers thing. I know they probably have no interest in that and the game probably wouldn't work, but it would be cool to have 2 killers and it would just be a different game mode instead of gens and all that, and they'd have different perks and maybe even have characters with stats. They'd probably just start with the four main survivors and work their way up there. That would just make it so interesting. But now here's the thing, Gun Interactive might actually compel them to do this if they stick to what they're doing. Continue doing updates and make the game far more interesting, along with the fact that that's exactly what they're doing. So therefore, DBD would actually have competition. And when they have, I guess you could say healthy competition would actually kickstart motivation. It's not saying that DBD is going stagnant, but the fact that competition is on the horizon, they might feel compelled to do something different, make something unique, do something, you know, it just, because right now when I go back to playing DBD, it just feels, it feels, I don't know, maybe TCM is just what I'm in the mood for right now, because I'm tired of doing nothing but sitting on gens for 60 plus seconds. It's not even 60 seconds, it's 80 seconds, and it feels like it's taking longer. And then they create all these, the really annoying new perks that they have that now you have to kind of adjust and change. It's part of just adapting to the game, but when you stop playing it for a while and you just start to forget what it's like, and then you remember, yeah, this is the game. This is the game. You're just touching gens and get to the exit gate. TCM at least has multiple ways to escape, multiple different routes and different paths and different little mini games to do. It keeps things fresh. At least until, you know, you master the maps, and then it's straight up, because that game is 100% map knowledge. Straight up. If you know where to go and where to navigate, both killer and victim. then you're set. You're good to go. The game doesn't have much in the way of randomization versus something like DBD. But then again, remember, DBD's been out for how many years now? 6+? So it definitely has a lot more going for it because it has time on its side. Whereas Gun Interactive, it's starting fresh. Like, let's be honest, and it has a lot of bugs. And again, let's be honest again. DBD had a shit ton of bugs. It had a lot of broken things about it. So there's no denying that there is potential here. There is potential for Texas Chainsaw Massacre to soar. Since they only have the license for the original movies, from my understanding, that's really all they can stick to, and then just create their own original stuff. But who knows what the future will hold for TCM, as long as they keep this momentum going. So that's my thoughts on the progression system, and I guess the games as a whole for now. I guess you could say I have the DBD burnout, where I'm just kind of maintaining it for the Rift at this point, and then, you know, just begrudgingly playing a few games here and there, because I'm really liking Texas Chainsaw Massacre for how it is, and I could see it getting boring once I know a whole map and then all that. But there is a competitive nature going against 3 killers. I guess maybe that's the thing. Going against 3 killers, it's far more threatening than going against 1. Again, just a whole new game entirely, but that's my thoughts on it. So, peace out, everybody.